IEBC allowed violence to happen during elections. Violence. A cabinet secretary went somewhere and is supposed to have overrun a polling station. As fate would have it, that is a constituency I was oversighting. In another place, a member of parliament was injured, stoned or something like that. In another place before elections, people were killed. We took action about that. Now let me come back to why I was talking about 85% Christians. Most of those people who are doing those things are coming to your churches every Sunday. They come to your churches on Sunday, Kefra, they come to your churches on Sunday. And then they go and stone somebody so that IEBC can be blamed, beginning with Francis Adwell. See, it's not good for us. So I'm saying, first, let us strengthen how we interact with our youth, especially in matter selection. It is the youth that are doing these kind of things. And I have seen what you have put in there, that one of the things is outreach to young people. Our biggest headache is young people. They are the ones who are used to cause violence on one hand, and they're the ones who are actually not coming to vote in large numbers. I was in North Barra. The overwhelming majority of people who are coming to vote were old ladies being assisted to come and vote. Young people were sitting out at the street waiting to protect their vote. They are waiting to protect a vote they didn't cast. A vote that has been casted by their old mothers and old grandfathers and old mothers. And the youth are coming to our churches. What are we doing about it? And then after they've done all of this, it is said, Francis Adwell, there are many of you here I have interacted with in other ways, and you know that I'm not a thief. So I feel very bad when people think that this is all we have gone to do at IEBC. Now, having said all of that, it is now I want to take this opportunity to not introduce my colleagues and ask them to come here and say their names, and please don't make a speech because I have made it on your behalf. So, Mary Karen, you're the one who was smiling broadly at me. I'll start with you. Come forward.
Prof. Our chairman, my fellow commissioners, EK, led by a bishop here and the board, our spiritual parents, my colleagues in IEBC, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning again.
Good morning.
My name is Mary Karen Sorobit. I'm a commissioner. I chair the Legal, Compliance and Political Liaison Committee. It is very good and great and wonderful when people of God meet together and fellowship in Holy Spirit together. Because you know the Lord's mercies are fresh and new every day. Please hold us in prayers, because you know with prayers, Prof is saying I'm not supposed to make a speech. But you know, it is your prayers which has held us and will continue holding us. We need those prayers each and every day. Continues making those prayers intercessories and intercede on our behalf. As Prof said, we have a very delicate mandate, and we can only deliver this with when all of us participate. You are great stakeholders. Every day when we go to church, please let's spread the message that we need peace. And even for those who lose, may they accept, because at the end of the day, us as the referee, we shall declare the winner and work with us. Thank you very much.
And all protocols observed. In the interest of time, my name is Anne Derito.
Myself, I'm getting here.
Now you are making noise, baby. My name is Anne Derito. I work at IEBC as a commissioner. I'm privileged to stand here, and because I'll be making a small presentation, let me just say that right now I share the commission, the committee in charge of election operation, which include voter registration that Dr. Kefa was mentioning. Thank you. We shall interact more.
Thank you very much. I am also pleased to be here this morning to meet the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, a name I am not very familiar with, but I'm learning. My name is Commissioner Hassan Nur Hassan. I chair the Human Resource and Administration Committee, and I also sit on Voter Operations Committee and Boundaries Committee, where Professor is our headmaster.
Kakangu mwenyekiti Rastus, maaskofu wapendwa, hamjambo. Jina langu Alutalala, babangu niliambiwa naitwa Mukhwana, hivyo Alutalala Mukhwana ndio majina yangu. Katika commission nasimamia elimu, washikadau na mawasiliano. Karibuni sana na asante kwa mwaliko.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Finally, we have the Vice Chair who is not with us. I said she's the one who should have been here, Fahima Arafat Abdallah. She chairs also, besides being the Vice Chair, she chairs the Finance and Supply Chain Committee. So thank you very much. I'm looking forward to more interaction with ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, so now let's give him a round of applause. Asante sana. So we'll be moving to remarks by Bishop Philip Toto on EAK and faith community in national cohesion, peace and electoral process. Karibu Bishop.
I think I'll ride on the same protocols. Good morning. Chairman, IEBC, and commissioners present, fellow board members of EAK, EAK trustees, and other guests present. I think we must acknowledge God for the opportunity for us to be here today to have a moment to pray with and consult with the new commission. The Evangelical Alliance is a united voice in Kenya, bringing together churches, ministries, and faith-based institutions. In Kenya, we know EAK is a bridge between the church, society, and most of the time with the state. The role of our EAK is not to be partisan, but to be deeply concerned about moral, spiritual, social health of a nation. Because that's what God advocates for, a just nation. This is what will result into a productive society. The church's mandate is to be salt, to permeate every space of society, and ensure Kenya, at over 50 years of independence, should not be fighting negative vices, but rather we should be the salt of cohesion in our nation. Therefore, we cannot be silent in times of injustice, or in times of violence, or moral decay, no matter which side it comes from. We are a voice of reason from the heart of God. The roadmap to, therefore, a peaceful election that is going to be having peace, unity, and national cohesion is important. We therefore advocate strongly for a peaceful cohesion, especially in moments of political indifference and heightened political and different ideological perspectives. But collaborative dialogue is important. We must, as a church, condemn all forms of organized violence or unorganized violence, hate speech, incitement of any kind, as we move towards 2027 and beyond. Because what we are building is not just for a peaceful election, but for a productive society. So my question is, what makes a just election? Is it just IEBC? Or is it responsible citizens also? And the answer is, it's a collaborative effort where responsible citizens do their constitutional duty. And IEBC does its part. And all of us celebrate, therefore, the results that come. Governance and leadership and accountability does not grow in the air. Leadership is measured by servanthood service that comes from men and women who are not only committed to themselves and their families, but also committed strongly to those who elected them. And this calls on our citizens to have their eyes open and therefore choose and do whatever they do with care. Because when you don't, you have no one else to blame. We stand here to seek that our citizens, therefore, become active participants in doing their constitutional mandate. Therefore, the interests of the people must be above personal or political gain. Our role as the church is to pray for leaders while holding them accountable to the moral standards that are expected in Scripture. EAK would love to see a Kenya that values equity and the rule of law. And this is brought about by strong institutions that help uphold the rule of law and the delivery of justice. But how can we have strong institutions which we ourselves degrade, demoralize, or seek to ensure it doesn't stand right with the people? We therefore need to stand for that is going to give us a nation that will realize its dreams. Fairness, transparency, respect for constitutional process, so that Kenya can realize its dream. We need to harness the potential of our productive youth and build also strong families. Kenya today is faced by dysfunctional families. And all this contribute to a very unstable nation when you have a people that have no hope. But as a church, together with strong institutions in other spaces, we are able to produce a nation that is after God's heart. The church must remain a prophetic voice, prayerful and pastoral. Our prophetic role is therefore key in speaking truth to power, pastorally healing and reconciling and restoring broken communities. Our prayer, therefore, is to seek God's guidance that our nation will achieve these goals. So I call on every Kenyan to pray. I call on every Kenyan to live right. I call on every Kenyan to hold every institution that God has given us on this land, as they do their part, to give them the respect that they deserve. See, Kenya's future can only be secured by all of us. May God bless Kenya. May God bless our land. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop Philip Kitoto, the chairman of the EK board, and also the presiding bishop of the Kenya Assemblies of God. We really appreciate those profound remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my singular pleasure to invite the chairperson of the IEBC to come and give a keynote address. Let's welcome Mr. Erastus Edung Ethekon. Let's welcome him.
Good morning. Mko fresh, eh? Tumepata breakfast na maombi. Asanteni sana. The chairperson of the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, Bishop Philip Kitoto, who has just left the podium with very good remarks. And I would like to echo your call, your final call, that elections can only succeed if all of us play a role. Thank you very much. Members of the EAK board and leadership present here, the Secretary General, Reverend Kefa Nyandega, faith-based leaders, fellow commissioners of the IEBC and our staff who are present here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I once again say a very good morning to you. It is my privilege this morning to join this fellowship, this prayer breakfast, so that we can all share our thoughts, our ideas, our challenges, our opportunities, and above all to pray for one another and pray for our country, for our democracy, for our elections, for our institutions. I am therefore very, very grateful to the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya for convening this breakfast. You know, they say the Lord builds the house, the builders, unless the Lord builds the house, the builders shall labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the guards who stand there will watch in vain. Our country is that house that hosts all of us. And we therefore call upon the Lord to watch over us and to watch over our house, so that then we, the children of God, will thrive in that house, will enjoy peace, stability, democracy through credible and transparent elections. So that is why I am very, very happy to have taken this responsibility as the chairperson of this commission, knowing very well that it's a heavy responsibility. But what comforts me is the fact that I am not alone. And I found friends in the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya and our religious community largely. So this gathering affirms a timeless truth that free, fair, and peaceful elections are not merely a legal or administrative event or process,
free, fair, and peaceful elections are a moral undertaking that speak to the soul of our nation. Elections, by their very nature, demand humility, vigilance, and shared responsibility. And I think the previous speakers have spoken to that fact. Today, I wish to briefly but candidly reflect on the IEBC's roadmap, and I would dare to say our roadmap, because it's not IEBC's roadmap alone, it is our roadmap to the 2027 general election, highlighting, of course, our preparedness up to this level and the challenges that may lay ahead. Our elections are normally done in a cyclical manner. The moment we conclude an election, it is not that IEBC shuts down and people retire to their farms, and those of us who are pastoralists go to look after camels. No. Work commences immediately for the next cycle of elections. So by the time we took over office in July last year, our secretariat already had laid some groundwork based, of course, on the experiences of the 2022 elections. And so what normally happens, immediately after election, we do something called post-election evaluation. And there's a report that will tell us what worked, what did not work, and what needs to be done to improve on the next election cycle. So that report is available. I invite you, those of us who have not read it, to have a look at it. And it contains very, very good recommendations for IEBC and all the various stakeholders, including the religious community, media, civil society, and of course government institutions. And on the basis of that report, of course, we have to adjust certain things that I will explain and improve on the next general election. So using that cycle-based approach, our subsequent elections will be based on a revised election operation plan. So every year, every election cycle, we have to come up with election operation plan, which is the blueprint that guides how we conduct our elections. We are currently in the process of finalizing that election operation plan because this plan has to be approved by commissioners. And when we came into office, we already had a draft. We want to refine it. We want to take it through a rigorous evaluation, a review. And then once we are comfortable, then we are able to bring it to you as our stakeholders, the religious community, the civil society, the media, and even other national institutions that participate one way or another in the electoral processes. Because in elections, we have, of course, the security system. We have the observers. We have the political parties who bring us the candidates to contest in the elections. And we have so many stakeholders. We have the judiciary. So what we are doing this year is to ensure that all stakeholders give an input into our blueprint for the 2027 general election. And it's therefore in that respect that I invite the Evangelical Alliance Bishop to be part and parcel of crafting that blueprint for the 2027 general election. And we want to expand beyond just having a blueprint that will capture the administrative and operational aspects of the elections. We want to have a blueprint that will articulate and include the roles that each one of us will play in the next general election. We want to see what role will the religious community play in the next general election? What role will the media play in the next general election? What role will the security play in the next general election? Civil society in equal measure. So there are so many stakeholders that we want this time to bring on board. When I was appointed with my colleagues, the first few weeks, everybody was telling us, oh, we are praying for you. You know, you people are in trouble. We don't know whether to pray or to congratulate you or to cry for you. And I did say, look, as Kenyans, we gave ourselves the Bible, you know. I remember Reverend Dega saying, the evangelicals believe in the supremacy of the Bible. Kenya, 2010, we gave ourselves a document called the Constitution. The Constitution of Kenya, 2010. And we say in terms of the hierarchy of laws in Kenya, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 is the supreme law. And in that supreme law, we said, we the people, sovereignty belongs to, and therefore that sovereign power, which I've seen also reflected in your presentation, that sovereign power, which belongs to the people, and it is inherent in the people, it is that power that now the people donate to institutions of governance. One of the key institutions is the executive, led by the president. The other one is the judiciary, led by the chief justice. The other one is parliament, led by the two speakers. Then in chapter 15 of that supreme law, we have the independent offices and commissions. So the people of Kenya donated their sovereign power. They said, okay, we are used to having the president, the judiciary, and parliament. But for one reason or another, our elections, we don't want these people to have anything. We want to have an independent electoral and boundaries commission, chaired by who? A chairperson, and for now it happens to be me. Okay. Then, of course, the other commissions that are there, the Human Rights Commission, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. So there's a reason why this architecture, governance architecture, was designed that way. And the people allocated each one of us specific responsibilities. And then they put therein accountability mechanisms. They say in chapter 10 that these are the values and principles that will govern ourselves. There must be transparency, there must be accountability, public participation, inclusivity, non-discrimination, the human rights, observance of human rights. And so in all that arrangement, we have to bear in mind that whatever we are doing as IEBC, we are doing it on behalf of the people. Because we can't, you can't get any power in vacuum. It's the power that belongs to the people, that they donated to us. But they also said in that constitution that this power, they exercise it largely directly. Okay? There's direct exercise of that power. And do you know where that direct exercise of that power comes from? It comes from elections, right? So when we registered 27 million Kenyans, that's almost slightly above the 50% of the Kenyan population. That's the adult. Unfortunately, children cannot, anybody below 18 cannot vote, right? So those of us who are adults, because they say it's for some strange reason that it's those who are above 18 that have the mental capacity, and therefore the adults, they can get a driving license, they can make decisions. So 50, those of us who are 18 and above make decisions on how this power is exercised, and they exercise it directly through elections. Then the other one, of course, the indirect. So they tell you, Parliament, you can do one or two things. But if you refuse, we can take back our power through referendum. Okay? And they can reorganize everything. They can even remove us as independent commissions or, disband everything. So it's the people who are at the center of all this. So as IEBC, we are preparing for the next general election, well aware that it is that forum, that opportunity, that through that election, which must be credible, which must be transparent, which must be believable, and above all, which must be peaceful. It is through that opportunity that Kenyans now express their will to elect their leaders, right from the president to the MCA in the village, member of the county assembly. So we are taking it seriously, and that election operation plan, Bishop, must reflect that people are the center, and we're exercising their power, and we are facilitating them to make their own decisions on the leadership and governance of the country. So one of the key elements of that election operation plan is voter registration. We must prepare a voter's roll that meets the integrity thresholds. A voter's roll that reflects the true figures of actual Kenyans who are eligible to vote in the next 2027 general election. So we're in the process of doing voter registration. We launched it. I think some of your members were there. Where is Reverend Paris? Yes, he was there. And when we are restarting the exercise, we went to a remote village called Mashuru in Kajiado East, among the pastoralists there, and he prayed for us to restart the exercise. So far we are doing well. 200,000, I think, Commissioner Andiritu. Yes. But we are not really worried because of the low numbers. What you call continuous voters registration, is based at the constituencies. And you know the many challenges our people have to access our constituency offices. But that is not the end, because our plan is to roll out what you call mass voter registration in the month of March. So I think that exercise will begin 29th March or something, closer there. And it's through that we will set up our registration centers almost in every major village in the country. And I believe that's why the Evangelical Alliance comes in. Because now when we move to the regions, to the constituencies, to the wards, to the villages, you can assist us through your network of the many churches across to mobilize Kenyans who have not registered to come and register. And even those ones who have registered, they can come and check their details, and also they are free to transfer their vote for convenience, maybe from one polling station to another. So that exercise is on course, and I think my team is working day and night very hard to make sure by March, which is next month, that we roll out that. And we expect the numbers to shoot up. But they can only shoot up if we all put a concerted effort to mobilize and to talk to people every Sunday. And even weekdays, I know mnakutananga huko kwa majumuiya, women groups, wakati mnafanya mambo yenu ya mama, muongeleshe vijana waje wajisajili. So we are counting on your partnership for that. And for the young people who are technologically savvy and who have gadgets, but sometimes it's a misnomer, because my neighbor there, Bishop, he has a very large iPad. See, I'm still digital. You can see Professor Francis Adol there with another large iPad. And so I don't know whether the young people alone who are technologically savvy, but we are targeting them, assuming that maybe the reason why the numbers are low is because of the way we have set up our centers and the distances, and that young people, we are making an assumption, and that these days maybe they are lazy to walk the distances that some of us used to. So we're introducing a digital platform where now you have a link and then you have a pre-registration form. You can fill it like right there. You can fill in all your details, and all you need to do is to walk into the next Huduma center or registration center and just give your fingerprints and you go. We just take your biometrics, 3 minutes, we are done. So I hope that will also encourage the young people to come up and register in large numbers. So we will be informing the young people once we are done with that system. So we are saying, therefore, that election preparedness is not done in isolation, and I have emphasized the role of other actors, including the religious community. So we will continue to engage with you, civil society, political parties, the media, security agencies, and development partners to ensure that we each play a role and contribute our ideas towards making the 2022 general election the best election in the history of Kenya. There are some issues that we normally like to classify as challenges, Commissioner. Issues around election financing, issues around legal reforms, and a few others. For me, my school of thought is normally not to look at things negatively. My natural instinct, I think maybe it's from where I come from in Turkana, with a lot of problems. So we are used to normalize these problems, and we see them almost as opportunities, not challenges. So in terms of our budget for the next general election, guided by the spirit that Reverend Nyandega said, through prayer, these things will be sorted out, right? That through prayer we will even get the funding. Yeah. So this deficit of 22 billion we are talking about, I think the Lord will bring. Because last 2 weeks we spoke with Parliament and we explained to them the rationale why we need this budget. Because without this budget, things like voter education will suffer. This mobilization, educating Kenyans on their civic responsibility, the manner in which they should register, why it's important for them to participate as responsible citizens. Without this budget, then we will be incapacitated to reach out to these young people, to the vulnerable places, the far north, places that do not access maybe the digital media and mainstream media. So through prayer, I believe, and of course engagement, negotiations, we will bridge the shortfall. So for me, I look at it as an opportunity we should pursue to bridge this gap. Then the issue of legal reforms. Every year when we go through an election, we observe certain things that are not adding up. Especially, of course, the issue of the 2/3 gender rule. There is always a problem somewhere there. We are pushing legal reforms. We are discussing with the politicians to see if they can support us to tighten the rules, for example, to ensure that during the nomination processes, they encourage more women and nominate more women so that we bridge that gap. There are other small gaps here and there, so we have put in together a reform package. And last week again, kwa mapenzi ya Mungu vile alipanga, we met with Parliament and again we gave them a list of those laws that require to be changed, that have a bearing on our elections, that we require to apply on time so that we can improve on the next election. And, you know, in the spirit of working together and building our country, Parliament agreed that they will fast track those laws. Hopefully, I think we had agreed in 3 months or 4 months. Yeah, 3 months. So we are pursuing that as well. So, I wish to assure Kenyans, I wish to assure you seated here, present here, in front of this media, that this commission is working day and night to ensure that we deliver peaceful, credible, transparent, fair, free and fair elections in 2027. And whenever we need you, we will come to you. Whenever you have good ideas like what has happened today with this prayer breakfast, please come to us. We will always find time out of our administrative, operational issues. We will come and sit down with you. We get ideas from you, and above all, we get prayers from you because we need it. Therefore, the role of the faith community. My sister Commissioner Anne Deritu is one of us, one of you, will later on elaborate on what role we see that the religious community will play in supporting us during this season of elections. So we are saying the faith leaders remain trusted voices in society and are critical partners in promoting peace, peaceful participation, ethical leadership, civic responsibility, and national unity. So we need that during this election cycle. And therefore the Commission and the country looks up to you to champion peaceful and informed participation during these elections, to help us counter this new phenomenon called misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, which is likely to distort certain things around elections. We also count on you to really speak truth to power, including that power. In case we feel like too powerful and we do some bad things, please speak to us. Speak the truth to us so that we can, change our ways. We are also calling upon you to provide that moral clarity to our nation during this election cycle. We encourage you, as you engage with our politicians, whom Professor said every Sunday they're in your churches. We encourage you, as you interact with them, we encourage you to teach them things about value-based leadership. Because it's unfortunate that you are in church for maybe 1 hour, then outside there you are saying different things which do not reflect the values and the teachings that you have received from the church. We also ask you to intensify your calls for peace and for restraint. Let us moderate the temperature in the country, because when the temperature rises, some things can happen that are irrational, that will take us off the rails. Okay? And I think those of us who are old enough, who have seen it before, know what I'm talking about. And in 2007, I was a fairly young person, young professional.
One more time.
One of the things that I witnessed, the 2007-008 chaos. And I was called upon to help with something called, it was called emergency intervention or something like that. And believe you me, when everybody ran away, there was no government things, there was no that. The first people we approached at the UN were the religious, the churches, the bishops. In Kibra here, I remember there was one Reverend Bishop Aboga. You know him? Yes, that bishop, we worked with him to pacify Kibra. That time governance had failed and even the security people could not contain the situation. But working with him and Red Cross, we managed to calm the temperatures there. So the role of the religious community, the religious leaders, we cannot downplay. Because even in crisis, you will find that you are the ones now at the center of managing the crisis. So let us continue focusing on that work. So in conclusion, we look forward to collaborating with you, the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, and the wider faith-based community, and we affirm our commitment to deliver incredible, inclusive, peaceful, and constitutionally compliant general election 2027. And with those many remarks, before I close, I invite us in Iliaza by saying, we dedicate our house to the Lord, right? Let us close with this hymn by Reuben Kigame, Bwana ni Mchungaji wangu. Please, can you play for us where this Gen Z is with the...
Would you understand as we sing this song together? It's a prayer.
Siku zote za maisha